Welcome to Artist Sessions. Today we're visiting with Jared Stout of the Jared Stout Band. Welcome, Jared. Welcome, Jared. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. So tell me, first of all, what's your connection with Blacksburg? Are you from Blacksburg originally?
Born and raised in Blacksburg. I went to Blacksburg schools all the way up through middle school.
Very nice. And so how did you get into music? How did you become the Jared Stout Band?
Oh, that's a really long story. I don't even know that you have enough time for that. But in the short scheme of things, my mom has always been musical and so I was raised around music. I went to choir all through middle school at BMS, and I played with a group a few times in college, and kind of got a little bit of a stir, as you know, this is fun. And then at one point I ended up having to make my living playing on the street in downtown Blacksburg. And
Nice.
I lived for 4 months off of the sole income of what I made on the streets 3 to 4 nights a week.
I love that. I love that the community of Blacksburg supports artists on the street. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
Yeah, it was late at night, so there were plenty of college students to help me out. No matter how many times they saw me, they thought it was cool. But I did that for a while, and then did the solo thing, and came back and decided I wanted to play bigger places than where you just play with just yourself and a guitar. And I liked that energy. So I started snagging people to be in a band. The band has went through a lot of phases. It's been through, a decent amount of people. But where we are now is a great spot. It's evolved a lot in the past probably 6 months. But it's evolved for the positive, and it's really started to formulate and become something that I personally saw from the get-go. So, I've been working really, really hard with different people and different time spans and different, moments in life to create what I have always had up here. And I found a great group of guys that are just incredible musicians, mind-blowing how good they are. And we've been able to create what we see as a group. So things have changed from up here just a little bit, but for the most part, the whole group kind of comes together and puts all this together, and that's where we are.
Well, that's a great story. So do you want to just tell who else is in the band? And since we're doing our social distancing, I know they couldn't all be there with you, but maybe you can tell me who's there, who's with you on the stage usually?
So longest tenure in the band is Mr. John Reardon. He plays bass. He's been playing bass and he played guitar a few times. He's been with me for maybe 4 years. I don't know, quite some time. Second to that is Joey Ballard. He plays drums. He's actually played every single position in the band.
Nice.
Except me. And it actually, I think even at one show, I needed a break, and he sang a couple of songs out front, and everybody else did everything. So I think he's played them all. But he's a music teacher at Margaret Beach, same school I work at.
Okay.
And so he's been in since I came back from Colorado. So he's almost into maybe a 3-year tenure right now. And shortly after them is Robbie Carden. He plays harmonica and secondary percussion. He's from the Roanoke Valley. He's a fantastic musician, well-rounded, and he has a good musician mentality headspace. So when it comes down to a lot of business, he's the guy who has a lot of solid input because he's been there, done that. And that helps out so much. And just recently, Isaac Haddon out of Blacksburg joined up with us, and that was just on a whim. We had lost a guitar player. He wasn't able to be there as much as we needed him to, and we asked Isaac if he'd be interested to fill the space until we really could find something. And he ended up jumping in and having a lot of fun and being a great piece of what we have. He melted right in with everybody else, no problems. And he seems to have a lot of fun. So, the whole group is here because they want to be here. and have jumped on board and work so well as a group. It's unbelievable. It's often very smooth when I know other people maybe don't get as smooth of a response from a group setting that these guys give me. So
Yeah, that's got to be great. That's got to feel good on stage and off. And so let's talk a little bit about the music. Tell me some about the music, some of the influences, some of the genres you play, that type of thing.
Oh, so I am forever constantly influenced on music. I have influences that go as far back as when I was a kid, playing Garth Brooks in my underwear in the living room, all the way to bands that I've even met recently that I will go and watch their show and I will listen to their music and I'll be like, oh man, I love this aspect that they're putting here. I love how they transition and they've played, So I try to learn consistently. So my influence are always coming from the environment around me. And, even the guys in the band are a big influence because I take what they like to do and I take, maybe a style of music that they love and I try to figure it out on my own. And I'm like, all right, so let me see if I can take this and incorporate it into the group and who we are. And then that's one little piece of each person that comes into it. So I've been through a lot of musical phases. To name a few, like I said, Garth Brooks, Jason Mraz, Whitney Houston. I love Whitney Houston.
Nice, very good.
I love what Tyler Childers is doing in the country music world right now. So I have a little piece of a lot of different places that influenced me. When I was in high school, I was a huge rock fan. I loved the hard rock. So there are times where I hear something and in my head I hear this hard rock breakdown that everybody's going to get down to, and I'm like, all right, I love that, but I need to take that and turn it a little bit more into what we do and not so much raging out.
That's great. Sounds like a great attitude, and I love that you really are so open to so many different styles. So now, do you write your own music?
Yes, everything we have that's original has went through my head at some point, and I have came out with some words and some guitar chords, and then I have again this fantastic group of musicians that have helped me formulate all those into a full band song.
Nice. So where do you get, I guess, your inspiration? I know that's just a really common question, but what inspires your music or your writing? Do you just sit down and say it's time to write a song, or is there something that gets in your head and you say, this is a song, I'm gonna do this?
Both. So writing for me comes from everywhere. It may be a day where I sit down and I go, I want to write a song. So like we have a single out called White Light. And that single, I sat down one day and for some reason, I think I may have been watching Moonshiners on TV for like 5 seconds. And I was like, man, I should write a song about moonshine. So I sat down, I did research for a couple of hours and wrote that song, mostly based off research and like a small story that I had in my head. And then other times we have a song called Crying that was in my head for probably like 6 months. 6 months, I had the same repetitive sound in my head. And one day I just sat down and I said, I got to figure this out. And it took me a good bit. And my girlfriend sat down with me and helped me out and got it all drilled in and ready. And so, and then some days there are songs that, like Morning Kisses, which we just took to the Tennessee Songwriters Festival. I was homeless at the time and sat down at the Blacksburg Farmers Market and wrote that in a matter of maybe 20 minutes. And that was just, it flowed out of me. It was in my head and that was a moment. Bam, song, gone. So it changes. I just try to keep writing, even if they suck.
Yeah, that's great. So now did I see that you all are in the competition for the NPR Tiny Desk concerts?
Yeah, we did put out a Tiny Desk. Yeah. And that's another cool thing that goes into songwriting. So we put out a Tiny Desk concert for a song called One Shot. And that's actually just it has a tagline in it as far as musically that was stuck in my head again. And I decided just to write a story. And that's exactly what that song is. It's just a story in my head about two cross lovers who meet up, become outlaws. You know, the male gets caught and he suffers the gallows, and the female can't save him, and she ends up being an outlaw on her own, running off into the world and taking it on as, you know, one woman against the world. So, you know, that's just a story in my head. I could say you could deep root that into my mom. You know, my mom's a pretty tough lady. And so, you know, I don't have any problem writing a solid song about a strong woman who makes the best of it and powers out. So
I love that. That's great. So, so let's just talk in the last few minutes a little bit about what a really important part of artist sessions for us is helping the community find ways to support our artists during this time when a lot of shows are getting canceled and they're not being able to get out there and play or you know, do their art in the way that they're used to. So talk a little bit about, first of all, how all this has affected your playing. I'm sure you've had some shows canceled, that type of thing, and I'm sure that you've found some creative ways to overcome that.
We have had a lot of shows canceled. Pretty much all of our shows all the shows for April, and most of what we've got coming up here in May looks like it's canceled. But you know, May's on the fence. Some places may decide to open up and have music again. We don't know. The only way that we've been able to stick in the game is to be smart about what we're doing. You know, we don't have a live stream every week, and that's only because we really don't want to saturate people with, you know, us every single week. You know, if you enjoy the music and you've heard it, you know, we try to have one solid performance every other week that allows people to tune in and not forget about us. And I think we've done well at continuing to make those positive performances and just staying in the public eye. You know, the financial bit of it is, as much as I would love to say that, you know, in a time like this, musicians could just crutch on the community and the community would help pay all our bills. That's not realistic. There's a lot of great musicians in this community, and we can't take care of all of them. So the fact that we do a live stream and, you know, we get tips when we do live streams are great. And we appreciate those. Often those go to the people who help us do the live stream, because just like us, you know, we all do have day jobs. We all do have other money that comes in, and we are struggling, but so are those people who get out there and spend the time to do the media or the lights or even just the facility. You know, you try to take care of everybody. So for us, it's just a matter of playing music and trying to stay somewhat relevant. And if we can manage to get some good shows that help pay a couple of bills, that's fantastic. But it's just a waiting game. And we're all very eager to get back to playing in front of crowds and doing things. But we have some cool stuff coming up in Southwest Virginia. You know, we're working on getting a live stream from the Grandin Theater. And so we're putting that together, and that'll be really cool. Not a firm date on that, or as well as we're working on a drive-in concert.
Oh, wow. That sounds fun.
You know, we try to stay different. It's not the exact same thing all the time. And if we can do that, then we're doing quite well for ourselves.
Well, that's great. So, okay, so here at the end, just tell us how we can find you, website, Facebook, where all are you?
So if you look up J Stout Music, that's more than likely going to take you to a Facebook, an Instagram, certainly a SoundCloud. If you're curious about the music, that's the best place to go, is go to soundcloud.com/JStoutMusic, letter J, stout like the beer, music like you listen to. And you can listen to all of our songs there. We have tons of live performances rigged up there that you can enjoy at home. You can go through a whole live show on there, just blasting on your speakers. And Facebook is J Stout Music, takes you to the Jared Stout Band. We do have a website called thejaredstoutband.com. It also has some music on there. We're working on fixing that so that the purchase is a little bit easier. But again, that's all just live stuff. But we're staying in the studio. We're almost done with some music, so we can put it out to the masses more than just the one. But yeah, if you type in the Jared Stout Band or J Stout Music, we're the only Jared Stout band, I believe.
Okay.
And I am the only J Stout Music that's up there. It pops right up.
Jared, thank you so much for joining us today on Artist Sessions. What a great attitude and great energy. And we will post your links at the end of this video so folks can find you quickly and easily. And we look forward to seeing you once this is all over and we can get together again, which we hope will be soon. So thank you all for being part of Artist Sessions, and we'll see you next time.
Pretty young lover, won't you fly away from me? Blue-eyed mama done got the best you see. I'm all worked up because you're dancing on my feet.